An Auckland hotel has gone to the High Court to try to stop protesters putting guests off their breakfast. A union representing cleaners at Key West has been demonstrating outside the hotel and apartment block, but the hotel says the noise is unacceptably loud.
And a sign New Zealand said, "We had enough of this, matey."
This is the sound of the 7 a.m. wake-up call the guests didn't ask for.
We are tired of international companies coming to New Zealand and paying low wages to New Zealanders.
The Key West is one of 2 Auckland hotels operated by Sydney-based Mirvac. Fed up by the protest noise, the hotel has taken the union to court to try and shut them up. The hotel says its guests have complained about lack of sleep and an inability to converse over breakfast. The hotel itself says its business could suffer irreparably.
People are allowed to demonstrate, to expose the low wages of workers in this country.
We have got a pretty wet weekend ahead of us, perfect time to go to the movies. Maybe though you should think twice about the guy or the girl selling you the ticket, especially if you're going in Wellington at the Reading Cinema, where staff aren't happy. In the 2.5 years the theatre's been open, management has increased their pay by a paltry 10 cents an hour. Adult employees make $9 an hour, which is minimum wage. Staff under 18 make $7.20, also minimum wage. The union says they've also had their 10-minute paid break taken away, so now in an 8-hour shift they get 1 half-hour unpaid break. Tonight they're taking things into their own hands. They're handing out free popcorn to patrons, a novel kind of way of getting your point across. With us now, staff member Patricia Hetherington, and a bit of action going on behind you. Patricia, what are you hoping to achieve with this stunt tonight?
Well, we're trying to get support from the public at the moment, just so that they realise what situation we're in. We want people to realise that we are on minimum wage. I've been working there 2.5 years, and the only increase I've ever had is 10 cents up to minimum wage.
Student protest has turned into a near riot after teenage demonstrators ran down the city's main street demanding the abolition of youth pay rates. Police made 2 arrests.
This is not truancy, this is activism! Yeah! No more youth rates!
It started as a protest against youth rates at Aotea Square.
I say this is education, this is the real education on the streets.
But without warning, more than 1,000 students began charging down Queen Street.
Do you think things are starting to get a bit out of control?
No, not at all. We're not causing any damage.
Get these guys off the road, mate.
Police squads were called to the scene to calm agitated protesters who started sitting down in the middle of major intersections. Police didn't take long to swoop. The first mass stop-work meeting of fast food workers since the 1980s has attracted more than 600 workers. Their unions calling for youth rates to be scrapped and for the minimum wage to be supersized. Selena Tehran reports.
While Poto Safili enjoys living at home, she'd like to move out. But as long as she's flipping burgers at McDonald's, she can't afford to.
Being like one of the biggest cities in New Zealand, none of the prices are decreasing and stuff, and it's just so high. Even the bus prices have gone up, so I don't bus to work. I have to get dropped off, and petrol prices are going up as well.
4 years ago, she started out on $8 an hour, with a pay rise of 86 cents per hour each year. Now she's a training manager, earning $11.46 an hour. And even though that's more than the minimum wage, it still won't pay her bills.
I don't know how I've been doing it for the past few months, but it's not enough.
Went on strike tonight, demanding better hours and more pay. And an Auckland restaurant brand's national call centre staff also stopped work in aid of the cause. The strike was part of the Supersize My Pay campaign.
Someone from Invercargill called me and said, "Am I going to be able to get my pizza tonight?" I said, "Have you ordered Hell's Pizza?"
The call centre mainly deals with Pizza Hut orders, and calls had to be diverted to the restaurants themselves, causing delays.
Workers at Starbucks coffee shops in Auckland have begun what may be a world first for the multinational: strike action. The staff want better wages and more regular hours. Selena Tehran's been hearing from some of them.
Dozens of workers from 10 shops joined the strike, seeking a bigger slice of the profits for themselves.
You're working like 9-hour shifts and you only get paid, you know, 10 or 9 bucks an hour.
When they point out that their hourly rate is less than the price of 2 cups of coffee.
I'm annoyed about the hours being cut, and I'm annoyed that I'm not guaranteed hours, and I'm annoyed about the pay.
I've missed out on an extra $2 for about 6 months, and they wouldn't back pay me either.
Their union represents all fast food workers. It wants the government to fast-track a promised rise in the minimum wage from $9.50 an hour to $12.
It's a large campaign. It's not just about Starbucks, it's about all fast food industries. Starbucks is just one of many fast food industries in New Zealand that pay minimum wage.
G'day everyone, Haere mai, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday the 22nd of November. Happy birthday, Billy the Kid. Tonight, a world first, a strike at Starbucks, and it happened here in New Zealand. Yes, it's never happened anywhere in the world before, which is perhaps surprising, considering there are almost 10,000 Starbucks outlets worldwide. 10,000. Indeed, Starbucks is so big, their shares sell at $31 US each, and their market capitalisation is $24.25 billion. And today, 35 of them walked off the job in Auckland, seeking higher pay and a change in conditions. Claire Sylvester's been with the workers and their union as they prepared for their big day out.
Easy, Marty. All right, we're on strike. First Starbucks worker in the world to strike. On strike from now.
16-year-old Nick Ogle, full-time worker at Starbucks at St Luke's in Auckland.
Welcome along, boys!
They're off to pick up other Unite members who are taking part in this world-first industrial action.
At Starbucks, we're overworked, underpaid. Our start rate is shocking, and we get just not enough. You know, we have no extra cash for, you know, uniforms or anything. We have to pay out of pocket for that, and with the price of everything else going up, it's just becoming really hard to live.
So how much are you paid, Nick?
I'm paid $10, and I've been with Starbucks almost 2 years.
So what do you think you should be paid?
I think I should be paid a minimum of $12 per hour.
One by one, other workers from around Auckland joined him in Newmarket,
Strike!
and the city before they joined the rally at K Road.
What do we want? $12 an hour! When do we want it? Now! What do we want?
And across the United States, Starbucks workers are closely monitoring the New Zealand strike. No, really, they are. In particular, the man who began the Starbucks Workers' Union in America, Daniel Gross. He's urging workers in New York to follow suit and believes a copycat strike is on the cards there. Last year, during a peaceful union rally outside the 36 and Madison Starbucks, where Gross worked, he was arrested along with a fellow unionist. There he is there. The men were singled out by police after the company claimed customers were being harassed, but all charges were later dropped. The rally was being held to encourage Starbucks staff to join the union. Not an easy thing to do in the States, as we'll see. So I spoke with Daniel Gross this afternoon and asked him about his reaction to the strike action here in Auckland.
John, it's great to be with you because this is a historic day. This is the first time in the world that Starbucks workers are going on strike. And while we're dismayed that Starbucks forced the situation, I'm overjoyed that Starbucks workers in New Zealand are taking a stand. They're taking a stand not only for baristas around the world, but for workers at these retail chain stores.
Windows at car stoplights. A lot of people work for it and don't earn much at all. That's why we're down here today at the Supersize My Pay Packet protests, showing our support for dudes that work hard but don't earn much dosh. Yo, so we're going to take it to the streets, try and get some dudes involved and chant the phrase. Give me that moolah, yo. Give me that moolah, yo. Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that moolah, yo. What about your co-workers? Did they not want to come?
Yeah, I tried, but no, they didn't want to come.
Were you totally like shoveling fries in a box and just like, nah, I'm out of here right now?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Good on you, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
That doesn't rhyme. 2, 4, 6, 8, Oh my God! We're running now! This is mega!
As the Boobs on Bikes parade was in progress, trade unionists were also out in downtown Auckland to oppose a law which would have given employers the right to fire new staff after 90 days, no questions asked. But the unionists needn't have worried. The Māori Party has decided not to support the bill, and without the Māori Party, it looks certain to fail. Ingrid Hipkiss reports.
Employment.
Māori Party co-leader Peter Sharples chose a union rally to announce that the party's pulling its support for the bill. Sharples says voting for it initially hurt the party.
You've got an email a day, you know, like 20 a day, and some of the language wasn't too friendly, you know, and that. So, yeah, it's been a hard time for us.
Unions protested loudly against the bill, under which all workers would face a 90-day trial period, during which they could be sacked, no questions asked.
It's important that the Māori Party has realised the damage that this legislation will do to working New Zealanders. I never doubted for a moment that the Māori Party would come in the end and oppose this legislation. Better late than never.
50, the motion is agreed to.
A vote that could mean bigger pay packets for workers under 18 years. The bill is Green MP Sue Bradford's baby, and tonight pushed hard in the debate to see youth pay rates scrapped.
There seems to be a myth embedded in some older people's consciousnesses that if you're young, you're not worth as much.
There are over 26,000 workers under 18. They've taken off their school uniforms to go on strike all over the country. 17-year-old Chris Almario is a supervisor at Burger King. He's paid $9 an hour, 50 cents less than the adult minimum wage.
I'm working harder than they are and they're getting paid more than me.
But sympathy seemed in short supply on the opposition benches.
1930s mantra.
Sue Bradford's members' bill aims to abolish the law that sets the youth rate at 80% of the minimum wage. Demelza Hastings has more.
It's been a heated campaign, and at this Auckland KFC outlet, the union representing youth workers was again today making its point. The youth workers wear the same uniform and have the same duties as some of their older workmates. But the difference here is that they get paid less for it.
Only 16 and I earn $8.80 and I do the exact same work as older people, but they get paid more.
When food court workers went on strike for better pay and conditions. The Workers' Union says the mainly Māori and Pacific Island workers are being treated like slaves, as John Stevenson reports.
What do they want? When do they want it? Now!
They've had a gutsful. Food court workers went on strike today, fed up with working conditions their union describes as medieval.
We believe the workers at the Auckland International Airport food court have the worst employment agreement in the country.
And here's why. The workers are given a start time but no finish time. Their employer can send them home even after an hour if, for example, the airport is fogged in. And even staff who have worked 40 hours a week for several years have no permanent positions and no guaranteed income.
They don't make anything at all. They don't make anything at all. Sorry to say that.
And how much would most of them take home?
Oh, say about 200, 235.
Let's have a little bit of a response to these questions.
Employees have also been forced to work up to 7 hours without a break, and they can be told to work up to 10 days in a row. The workers' employer is a joint venture between the host Marriott Services Corporation and the Auckland International Airport Company. The union says it's outrageous two such profitable companies should be treating employees so badly, especially as the airport company is part owned by the Auckland and Manukau City Councils.
We've been negotiating with this company for 3 years. They have done everything possible to stop concluding a collective employment agreement with us.
So the union opted for a bit of megaphone diplomacy. Many travellers were sympathetic, but the airport company's security men were not impressed.
Don't touch me, sir, it's assault. Do not touch me.
Urging moviegoers to boycott popcorn until those dishing it out are better paid. Unite Union says cinema supervisors are worse off than supervisors in the fast food industry, and that the best offer cinema attendants have had is discounted ice cream. David Farrier reports.
These cinema workers weren't serving popcorn tonight. They were dishing up a protest because they say the Sky City cinema chain isn't taking their demands for more pay seriously.
They haven't met our demands for our negotiation. The only thing that they have met is that we get discount off our scooped ice creams. Currently the supervisors and the CAs who work below the supervisors, the gap between the pay is only $1.
As well as getting cast a toot, they're also requesting movie lovers boycott the thing they love most.
What we're encouraging the public to do is basically boycott the candy bar. Don't buy anything from the candy bar. It's not only is it hugely marked up, but it's also a way in which we can take industrial action.
For tomorrow's Bledisloe Cup could be among those affected by a strike at the Sky City Hotel and Casino. Over 1,000 Sky City service workers will take part in the strike, which begins tomorrow morning. Pay talks broke down after workers voted to reject Sky City's 4% across-the-board pay rise. Tristan Clayton reports.
It's one of New Zealand's biggest companies. Its senior managers some of the country's most highly paid. But as of tomorrow, their job description could involve some very unmanagerial tasks.
Cleaning up the vomit and the blood and syringes and condoms and all the rest of it that you get in hotels, but also in casinos.
The 24-hour strike by service workers begins tomorrow at 10 in the morning. At stake is a major shake-up of the company's pay structure. At present, the lowest paid employees earn just under $13 an hour. An amount slightly above the minimum wage, but one that doesn't change with length of service.
We turn now to a young woman who, like many young people, got a part-time job at McDonald's. But Chantal Coop did something else too. She joined the union, the increasingly successful Unite Union. That wasn't so well received at the Kaiapoi McDonald's, where Chantal worked. In fact, it was badly received. Anti-union notices were even put up at work. And what happened next has seen her employer ordered to pay her $15,000, and McDonald's New Zealand moved to remind its franchise holders about their responsibilities when their workers join a union. That's a pretty big victory for one young woman from the far north. Chantal's in Brisbane currently, and I asked her what happened when she and some of the other young workers dared to join the union.
Around the workplace, we were told that if we didn't resign, we wouldn't get pay rises or promotions. People who did stay in the union, their hours did get cut. Bullying was happening. We got told not to associate with us. And pretty much their whole attitude just changed towards us.
Right, so there was basically an explicit campaign against workers who joined the union, and in the face of that campaign, most of the people who joined the union did what, Chantal?
They quit.
Right, so why didn't you quit the union?
Just because of what the union came around and said, I just thought it was a good idea. Quite a lot of my family told me to stay in it just because I did have not problems at work, but a few issues. Yeah. They weren't major, but yeah.
McDonald's workers in Auckland have begun a series of short strikes which they're planning to stage during busy times of the day, lunch and dinner. The workers say while McDonald's claims to be looking after coffee growers overseas, it's not providing the pay and conditions staff deserve here in New Zealand. Melissa Davies reports.
Te Aroha Rio hoped working at McDonald's would get her finances on track at uni and ready to kickstart her career.
I started working at McDonald's because I wanted to go to MIT and I didn't want a student loan.
She earns $12.75 an hour. That's just 75 cents above the minimum wage and makes it tough to pay off her $6,000 student loan.
It's hurting us really hard, especially the people with children. What is it? The gas and stuff at the moment, it's just ridiculous and we need more pay.
McDonald's says on average workers are paid more than 15% above the minimum rate. But the union says chains like KFC and Pizza Hut have a higher starting pay.
The difference is about 50 cents an hour for the crew, but it's up to $4 an hour for the supervisory managers.
The union is also concerned that some staff are on contracts with no fixed hours.
What it means is that people can be punished for things by having their hours mucked around with, or sloppy managers can just change people's shifts without giving consideration to people being able to pay their rent every week.